Today on Maeder and Friends, we're going to have a quick discussion about the youth and how most kids nowadays want to become YouTubers or they want to become famous TikTokers. Not necessarily influencers, but they see so many people because it's prominent nowadays. It's a lot easier because internet's better, phones are more accessible, cameras are more accessible, but it's not as easy as going to get a degree and then go into the working field. So yeah, let's dive right in. People forget a lot of it is luck. You could make the best video the world has ever seen and no one will see it. And that's the harsh reality where someone could create the most basic video and then bring in millions. But the person that made the best video can make continuous good videos and they could only pop off in a couple years time. Look at a degree you can't do in 1 year. A degree takes a couple of years. So if you are going to pursue something such as content creation, don't be in it for the quick game. Be in it for the long game. And then what a lot can happen is the thing is it might not ever work out for you. So you could be doing this for years, and if you put your full energy into it, what's going to happen in 5 years time when you realize that time is just ticking by so quickly and you've made nothing that's popped off? You might still pop off in the future, but why invest all that time into something and waste all your time, waste all your years of your life for something that could potentially not happen? So I think personally, put your energy somewhere else and have the content creation as a side hustle and not your number one priority.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been on an incline in the past decade, I want to say, especially since the pandemic hit. Just the amount of people that want to be a content creator. There was a poll with US teens ages like 13 to 17 back in 2021, and they were asked what their dream jobs are. And I believe 9% said that they wanted to be actors or they wanted to be celebrities of some form in the media. And a whopping 16% said that they want to be content creators, they want to be streamers, they want to be YouTubers, vloggers. And that was shocking. The fact that, this is back in 2021, but the amount of youth that wanted to be content creators essentially doubled from what it was with the amount of youth that wanted to be actors through traditional means like acting and music and so forth. So it was quite shocking that content creation really took the world by storm. And especially back in the day, people kind of, they talk about it now a lot more vocally about how difficult it is to be a content creator. But especially back then, there were a lot of people that ran with this narrative of that they're living the lifestyle dream and it's completely accessible to everybody. In practice, it is accessible. That's one of the benefits of content creation. It's completely accessible. You can just pick up a camera, hit record, and start making videos. And that's typically what you need to do if you want to get somewhere with content creation. Just pick up the camera and start recording. But now it's become a situation where the market is so unbelievably oversaturated that it's now become a dogfight between people that's already established on the platform, and it is a uphill battle for anybody that wants to come into the platform or into the industry as a whole. Because at this point now we have people who literally just steal other people's content, or they use AI to try and produce easy to consume garbage just to get in as quickly as possible. And to make it as a content creator, like you said, it takes a lot of luck. A lot of people never spoke about how much luck it takes to actually make it as a content creator. And even more so, luck depended on who you knew, right? Who are you talking to? That's why there's so many smaller CCs that always try to really kiss up to bigger CCs, because it's all about that exposure. You said it best, even if you make the greatest video to ever exist, it doesn't matter if nobody sees it. If it never hits the algorithm, no one will see it, and it'll just be another addition to the one of many, 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 many videos on the platform that just does not perform very well. We do content as well. Maeder and I, we do content and we post it online. But we have 9 to 5 jobs. We're not trying to replace our 9 to 5 jobs with this content creation, especially now. This is literally just, we have these conversations in general all the time. And we thought, why not just upload it? If our conversations and the things that we say can add a little bit of insight to somebody somewhere out there in the world, then that's more than enough contribution for us to feel satisfied, right? So if it takes off at some point, that would be awesome. But for now, we are both doing this strictly just because we enjoy talking, and we find pleasures in sharing it out there, right? But back to the youth and content creation. There was a quote from another creator that I really liked, because the parent asked them what the viewer's son needs to do in order to become successful in content creation or as an influencer. And the creator responded with, do not let your child be an influencer for the sake of being an influencer, because there's too many people like that. And instead, what they should do is find something that they're passionate about, something they're okay with sharing, and something that they're okay with never popping off. If they like fishing, let them do fishing vlogs, fishing videos. And if it never pops off, they're okay with that, because the reality is that content creation is such a difficult thing to get into. And I mean, if I was to think about how many content creators actually make it in the industry, you'd be surprised. I mean, there's about 115 million YouTube channels worldwide, right? That's just YouTube, not taking into account how many Twitch streamers, Rumble streamers, Kick streamers, Twitch, all those platforms, Instagram. I think X can also live stream as well. We're not taking into those platforms, just YouTubers, YouTube channels. Over 115 million YouTube channels worldwide, with only roughly 69,000 of them that have reached 1 million subscribers. Now think about that for a second. Only less than 100,000 of 115 million content creators have reached a million subscriber mark. Minimum, they've reached the minimum of 1 million subscribers. So that's 69,000. That 69,000 is taking into account everybody that's over 1 million as well, which accounts to 0.06%. So even though content creation is incredibly accessible, it is incredibly difficult to actually become established into it. And a lot of youth don't know that. A lot of youth were led to not think that way, to not be aware of those risks. And so they went into content creation, and then they end up getting burnt out, or they end up getting depressed because their channel never takes off. Fortunately, now we are at the point where a lot of content creators will verbalize that, they'll tell you that being a content creator is difficult, unlike it was back in the day. There are still some of them that do that, but for the most part, I think that the amount of youth that want to be content creators, despite the risks, is astonishing. It's at levels that, I mean, statistically, I don't even have those numbers, but it's probably 10 times more than the amount of YouTube channels there are right now. And I don't know what effect this is going to have on the economy, long term, but there are less doctors, there are less lawyers, there are less official societal roles in exchange for wanting to be content creators. And I mean, you can be whatever you want, but let's be honest, if you want, for the most part, people that want to be content creators are just people who are chasing that fast money and fast satisfaction, right? That fast success, that fast chasing for success. They want to feel like those content creators they watched growing up as a kid, because they think they're so cool. A lot of people don't make content because they're passionate about what they're sharing. I mean, if they were passionate about what they're sharing, we wouldn't see as much trashy videos online.
and it's pictured as a glamorous type of job. The thing is, it's not as glamorous. Even the best content creators take breaks from the stuff that they do. There is burnout because what you were doing that you loved has now become a job, and you can't do it for fun because you're not, without recording the content, because you're missing out on content. So it's actually very difficult. I read a while back about someone that ended up going to, wasn't a psychologist, but yeah, she went into a clinic because she couldn't keep up with this persona that she had on, which her YouTube channel was. And a lot of people do put on a certain face, they put on a character, they act for that content. Imagine you're a daily vlogger, you can't go outside without your camera because that's your content. So what, you're going to be recording, constantly thinking about it. It sounds awesome to be like a vlogger type of thing, but it's actually, it can be difficult to keep doing this. And I think a lot of people forget that it is work. You don't just record and then go about. That's boring. That does not work. If you're going to be the daily vlogger, like, as an example, you do plan your day out. You do plan, okay, I'm going to record this, I'm going to record that. And then, especially starting out, you're not going to have money to pay for an editor. So you have to do the editing. It's a ton of work. And people forget about that. They see all these content creators and they see like, oh, this person surfs all day. Like, damn, that's cool. Or this person just goes and eats at restaurants all day. That's cool. Yeah, but how did they start? They were doing everything. It's a lot easier when you have popped off, or you can pay someone to do the editing, and that's a lot easier. Pay someone to form a routine for you to do. Again, that's a lot easier. But what if you just want to go to a restaurant by yourself and not have to do that type of stuff? Guarantee at the back of your head you're thinking, damn, I should actually be recording this because this is content. That's not a nice lifestyle. I don't care what you say. I think if someone is looking into that direction, you have to think about it for yourself and think, okay, I have to do something that I do on a daily basis, meaning your personality. Because if you have to constantly put on a personality the whole time and you're doing this content, I don't see it sustainable in the long run. I see burnout and I see self-sabotage and depression. This is my thought. And exactly as Papa said earlier, we have these chats on a daily basis and we just thought like, hey, why don't we just put this on? And why don't we just record it and put it on? People need to have that kind of attitude with their type of content creating. Yes, it is fun to put on a face, but can you do that for the long run? That's a question.
This is why I have so much respect for content creators that keep it real with viewers, right? They're transparent with their viewers. They advocate for being realistic and staying rooted in reality. They encourage people to not put up facades and just be honest with each other, honest with themselves, because putting up a face all the time is exhausting, and it's one of the quickest ways to burn out because you're not being yourself. Don't be a content creator if you just want to speed run to success, because you won't. You will not speed run to success, right? Less than 0.06% of people reach over 1 million subscribers. And I'm gonna be honest, 99% of viewers don't want to be content creators because they watched a YouTuber with 100K subscribers and about maybe 10 to 20K viewers regularly, right? They want to be content creators because they see people like those, I'm not going to name any names, but they see those big content creators that's making so much money, that's having so much fun, that gets sponsorships, that gets early game accesses, that gets so much benefits on screen that they're choosing to show you, and that's who they want to replicate. Don't become a content creator because you want to speed run to success, because you just can't. I'll say it again, you just can't, right? Don't become a content creator if you're putting up a constant facade, because that will come back to bite you. Maybe it'll get you in trouble online, maybe you'll get canceled and your career will fall apart, or you'll just fall into a depression as a human being. You'll feel like a hollow husk. Become a content creator because of two things. Because, number one, you're passionate about something, something that adds positively to your interests, your hobbies, the communities you're in, or the people you interact with. Become a content creator if you're passionate about something and if you're passionate about sharing that something. The level of success that you'll face will come if you stay determined, if you stay consistent, if you stay motivated and disciplined. But at least because you're going to face a grind regardless, if you do it with something you love, or something you're passionate about, and something you're passionate about sharing, you'll less likely be somebody that falls into depression or burnout because of it. You have less chance of ending up in a mental state where you think everything is meaningless, everything is pointless, and there's no point in trying. It's not the activity, it's not the action that is meaningless. It is because the action is not fueled by pure motivation and passion. That is why you feel like giving up. So that is my advice to anybody listening to this that wants to be a content creator, any youth that wants to be a content creator. It's okay to dream. It's good to have dreams, but it's important to not stay in those dreams. You either make it a reality or you face reality. That's just the honest truth. The honest truth is that not everybody that tries to be a content creator is going to make it as a content creator. But if you fuel it with passion for something you love and that you love sharing, you're less likely to burn yourself out.
And this is also content specific, but you always want to improve on what you're doing. So it's not necessarily meant for podcast type style like us as an example, but let's say you are a gaming creator or you're some type of vlogger. You need to stand out, and your first video you learn from. So you're constantly building on your base. And this is what a lot of people have done in the past that are now successful. Go look at their first video. It's never good, but then it just gets better and you see the improvements. And then you stick with what works when it pops off. That is one piece of advice that I find you must think about. Don't just record your daily vlogs and upload like that. Don't just record gameplay and upload like that. You're not going to do well.
You should 100% aim to constantly grow. That is just in the nature of humans, right? Constant progression, constant evolution. Aim to grow through your content. Aim to grow in the quality of content you provide. And most of all, you need to be someone that's entertaining. You need to be somebody that people are willing to listen to, people are willing to watch. Don't use that as an excuse to suddenly create boring, uninspired, slop content, because we have enough of those, and that kind of content has really plagued the minds of people to just consume the so-called fast food instead of meaningful content that will better their lives. So if you're going to make a vlog channel, try to be intuitive with it, playful with it, experiment, try new things, grow, learn, and add something of value to the platform, no matter what kind of content you make. I will never get tired of making Maeder and Friends content because number one, I'm not trying to chase some sort of career. I mean, if it blows up, that'd be nice, but number two, I just love to talk. And I like sharing it. I love having conversations with Maeder, and I love sharing insights and opinions on things. And so I don't find myself in a situation where I'll get burned out of this, because whether we do it on a camera or whether we do it when we're in the privacy of our own phone calls or company, it's going to stay the same. It doesn't change. Though, to be honest, right, to practice what I preach, full transparency, I curse a lot more outside of these broadcasts. I curse a lot. That's a real problem. But, that's really all that I want to say. If you're a youth and you want to be a content creator, I would actually implore you to think of not being a content creator and just be somebody that shares their experiences or their passions online. I think that'd be a good starting point. But I think also a lot of people just too obsessed with the ideas of being a content creator because they want that freedom, they want that lifestyle, they want that money. And for 99.9% of people, that's just not possible. Have dreams, but keep them reasonable.